Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, I'm going to share my simplified way of covering science and history in our homeschool. If you're new here, I am a mom to a 6 and 4-year-old as well as a 1-year-old, and so my approach to science is probably not how everyone else does it, but again, it's homeschool for us, so it's going to be different. My main focal points for homeschooling is really the basics: math and language arts. My approach to science thus far has been interest-based, as well as things that we come across. So say for instance the seasons, animals, different habitats, whatever the case may be. I love for my girls to be able to have an explanation for why things are the way they are. A little background about myself: I have a bachelor's degree in science. I have a biology degree, and science was my favorite subject all throughout school because it was the only thing that really challenged me, the only thing that really gave me answers when I was looking for it and stuff like that. And so I just wanted to say that because I will be switching up my science approach in the near future, right? You know, coming from a science background, I do have different ways that I want to do things, but I wanted to make sure that we had the basics down packed, a good rhythm and routine first before I try to incorporate all subjects at one time. So now I'm just going to share some things that we do have. We were doing like themes of the week, using like a preschool curriculum or kindergarten curriculum, and it gave us different themes that were basically science based, right? So say for instance winter, or different habitats, or yeah, and that's how I can think of weather, things of that nature, right? So right now for my first grader, my 6-year-old, we have been using a free curriculum from Miniature Masterminds. And I shared a video on this, I think I did, so I'll link it in the cards. But basically it's a free curriculum and it gives you a list of topics, right? And it's not very thorough, right? So what I do is look through this book. It covers things like habitats, water cycle, living, non-living things, life cycles, you know, electricity, sounds, vibrations, solar system, soil, plants, clouds, the earth, and all that. So basically what I am doing with this curriculum right here is pairing it with YouTube videos, documentaries, and things of that nature. Say for instance we just talked about study all of the habitats, right? And so we took a trip to the zoo to see the different animals from those habitats, so like rainforest animals, savannah, all of that. And then we recently took a trip to Bass Pro Shops, y'all, to see the different fish, you know, and that was a representation of like freshwater animals and the type of fish that we eat, don't eat, all of that type of stuff. So for science, it's a very fun and hands-on approach. And we also try to take trips to the science museum to see different things, to do different experiments or whatever the case may be. So that's what I do with the free curriculum. This is my most recent purchase from Amazon, and so this is the Evan Moore Skill Sharpener for Science. The first grade level, I initially bought the geography one for my daughter, and she loves doing it independently. Like, she doesn't need my help to do the things. And I love this little book because it covers a wide range of topics, and it gives a little information, of course. So it's not like a standalone curriculum or anything. It's more so like a review or like a supplement, if that makes sense. So it has different topics in here. So like light, it'll give a few sentences talking about light, and then it gives like a matching thing. Can't really see. It gives like a matching page, and then it also gives like a little hands-on activity at the end. So it has crossword, puzzle, fill in the blank, draw. It gives them things to do. So this is saying draw 4 lights that people made, and then draw the lights from outside. So telling them to decipher between you know, the light God made as well as the light that people make, right? And then from there, you know, it gives different activities based on the lesson. So I'll show you one of the activities. This one is covering leaves. So it tells them what they will need and what to do. So this is leaf rubbing, and all of these things are like very simple, right? So you don't have to, you can like do like one theme a week or one topic a week, but for my daughter, she breezes through books like this, and I don't want to be a hindrance to her. Like, if she's ready, if she's taking in information, go ahead, do your thing. And you know, if you have a question, you let me know, or whatever case may be. But that's that. I love this little workbook because it's something that she can do independently, and then she can just ask me. There's no pressure to know anything with science. We like to experience it. So we're talking about light, shadows. We're talking about leaves, seasons, whatever the case may be. If we can get outside and see it, if we can go to different stores, different places to see it, that's what we're going to do, right? So that's my approach so far. I also love this little workbook called Tinker Active. This one is based on Common Core standards. So we haven't really been using it like, you know, this term, but last year, this is my approach to science. I was using this workbook because I was doing like a theme or a topic a week. So say for instance for them, it has the weather. So of course with kindergarten it's very light, so it's to draw the weather from yesterday, observe and draw the weather today. And I would do the same thing with this workbook. So I would go through these little activities, you know, talk about it, and then at the end of the little lessons they have a hands-on activity to make something. So this one right here is telling them to get an ice cube, rub it on other things, what happened, and then also it gives them a project to make. So let's engineer. So I love this little book because it has a hands-on project for them to do after each little topic, and so my girls love that, enjoyed that. So I'm gonna find another one. This one is talking about watery weather. I don't know, I think the topic was water. So what is this? There was another thing that they told them to do, and I think they use coins. So, you know, it's very hands-on, using things that you already have at home, and it's very fun for the kids. So this is what I was doing with this. I would take a topic that week. So say for instance, if we're covering weather, I would do a page, probably a day, on weather. I would watch a YouTube video on weather. I would either order books on Amazon on weather, meteorologists, or I would go to the library and check out books on weather. So I try to tie it all in. And then if I wanted to get a little fancy, I would do like a sensory band geared towards weather, or, you know, little hands-on activities here, crafts, sing songs. You know, teachers pay teachers is a really good resource for things like that. But that's about it. So I would just, you know, go over different topics. Yeah, animal habitats, reduce, reuse, recycle, pushing, pulls, all of that. And as I said, I try to cover these things on a daily. Like when we're out and about, just giving them the correct terminology and things of that nature. So I also have one last thing that I could use for science, but don't really use for science. So this is a all-inclusive, like, good resource to have. It said what your kindergartners need to know. They have one for each grade level. And so it covers all the subject areas, honestly. So I'm just going to go with science because this video is on science, and share what they have in here. I love this little book because you don't really need like outside resources if you don't have it, right? So for science, they cover things like plants and plant growth, seasons and weather, animals and their needs, the human body, taking care of Earth, magnetism, and stories about scientists. And those would be like the pillars to cover throughout the year. If you're following this like curriculum, they do have a whole curriculum that, and this is what they cover, but this is just a book to refer to, right? A lot of charter schools use this curriculum. It's available online, it's free, so that's a good resource to check out as well. It's just very lengthy, so I wanted to simplify things for my girls right now, and then as they get older, or as they, you know, get in a different space, we can add more to it. But as of right now, I want it to be fun, concise, simple, and then if we need to go deeper on the topic, we do that, you know, and make it fun, right? So I'm gonna go to this page to show you what it looks like in here. It gives you different activities, right? It's an introduction. It gives you a list of resources, like different books you can use as well, and then the author and all of that. Of course, you know, this book is outdated, so you can get some upgraded versions of books. I love that it's a book you can use to teach. So this is plants and plant growth. So it has a passage or whatever, it has diagrams that you can use. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. And then it talks about like how seeds grow, right? It gives diagram, different stories that you can read. And And then you have activities that you can do, right? It tells you how to do that. They have an experiment listed in here. And then we talk about plants that we eat, where things come from, like french fries, potatoes, sugar, maple syrup, chocolate, bananas, all of that. So they'll just understand, like, you know, how seeds grow into plants, what plants produce what we already eat. You know, talking about weather. They have songs for weather, as well as a hands-on activity. I'm probably going to do this very soon. This one is an activity to make a snowflake. So it's winter time. It's cold. It may snow on Monday. Today is Wednesday. So the girls probably enjoy making that. And then it just gives a brief, it's not like very thorough where it's like chapters of information, but it's very concise information. It's very good information, and they put it in a way that children can understand it. So I really love this, and I totally forgot that I had this actually. We've covered all of the topics besides magnetism, so that's something that I need to really cover going forward. And of course we talk about the scientists of George Washington Carver all the time. Talk about all of that. So, oh, forgot, I also have these experiment books. This came in an Amazon package. This one is something I got from Target or Amazon. When we want to do experiments that's not in these books or whatever, we'll just pull out one of these books and, you know, make sure we have the things here to make the stuff. And yeah, so far that's my approach to science with my 6 and 4-year-old. Depends on the state that you're in. Some states require you to teach certain topics for science to cover certain standards, so you can log on to your state standards, click on that grade level that you're teaching, and they will give you objectives, things you need to cover, topics you need to cover. I recently logged on to ours. We are in Alabama, and they have the objectives. They also have lessons and videos that you can click on and watch. So I was like, that's a good resource that we're going to start implementing. And I recently found out about the shows that they watch, right? So Wildcrats, which is on PBS Kids. I learned about that show through looking at the state standards and the activities and the lessons that they had on there. So also check out your state standards, and you can use your state standards to pull from, right? So if you want to go over a different topic, you've already covered everything in this book. Check out what the state standards are recommending you teach, right? Some states require you to teach everything, and then other states just have it as a standard for public schools, right? It's nothing wrong with you going on there and seeing what they're covering to make sure your child is up to par, above, whatever the case may be. Like, however you measure that, that's up to you. But I have found them useful for me to know, like, kind of like what to cover. You know, this is my first time homeschooling. I've been, you know, doing it from the jump, but in terms of different subject areas, how much to cover and all of that, it's helped me with finding the balance and finding out how I want to personally teach my children science. So the state standards is a good guide to use, you know, and of course you can find your own resources, you know, do this, do that. But if you just need a little bit of guidance, check out and see what your state standards have, see if they have lessons already put together, you know, whatever case may be. That has been helpful for us. I am going to start doing a little more for science. Like, I feel like we have our basics down pat, like our science, like our math and language arts. Like, I have a little groove for what we do. With science, we'll cover it like family style, right? So talking about the topic, watching a video on it, reading a book on it, doing little crafts on it. But I want to kind of like do a little more, right? So it's not really an everyday thing, so I want to either incorporate it on more days or do a little bit more time, right? I almost forgot to say this, y'all. For science, I also utilize Netflix shows, Amazon Prime for shows like The Magic School Bus, Storybox, 80 Twist Scientists, National Geographic, and other shows that have animal documentaries and things like that. So the Magic School Bus is a really fun series. The Storybox is a very educational series. Wildcrats, as I said, on PBS Kids, those are shows that they actually watch, and they give some different topics to talk about. One more thing, y'all, I totally forgot about subscription boxes. That's one of the changes I said I was going to be making this year, incorporating subscription boxes. So for science, I'm going to go with the Little Passports Science, I think it's the Science Junior set or whatever case may be. So KiwiCo's another subscription box service that's science-based. So I want to incorporate that to just bring a little more variety, a little more fun, hands-on, you know, crafts, activities, and things of that nature. So if you're interested in stuff like that, explore subscription boxes. If your little one loves to build, if you want like a monthly like surprise, a monthly theme, something to do outside of your norm, consider subscription boxes. That's something that I'm adding back. And right now I have 2 over here. One is for geography and the other one is for cooking, food. So science with food. So this is an example. We just got this in a few days ago. So this is a subscription box that's talking about the science behind food. So why do things brown and how do you cook ground beef and all that stuff. So, you know, that's very fun for kids. So I'm going to do a whole unboxing on this. I'll link it up in the cards if I've already uploaded it, but if not, just stay tuned for that video to see what all came in these boxes that I just mentioned. But yeah, I think that's it now. As far as history for us, again, my girls are 6 and 4. I don't have a history curriculum. I do a lot of geography, and I feel like that goes into history a little bit, but in terms of like just history in general, like I don't have a curriculum for that. What I did again was go on the state standards and see what they're covering. So for my first grader in history, they recommend covering, you know, the history of our state, right? And so I can find different ways to do that. I love to cover history through books, picture books. So we're big on covering our history all throughout the year through books, picture books, inventors, you know, inventors, you know, musicians, all of those things, right, through picture books. And even when we are talking about different topics or careers or whatever case may be, I will refer to a historical figure, right, someone that I learned about growing up, or someone who is well known for that, whether it was 5 years ago or 150 years ago. So that's my approach to history. It's real light. I am exploring more picture books, you know, to teach those things, to teach those like not so easy topics to talk about with children, to get them to understand certain things that's going on in the world today. But I did hear about this curriculum. I want to say it's called Oh Freedom Homeschooling. Let me see if that's the right name. Yeah, Oh Freedom Curriculum. The website is Woke Homeschooling. So they have a great curriculum with accurate history that can be used for your child. They have a curriculum for grades 3 through 7, and they also have let's see, they have an Oh Freedom for beginners. So it's a conscious U.S. history for beginners, and this is for, it's a picture-based curriculum. I have not tried it out. I have looked at a sample lesson and it looks really nice. It's conversation driven, hands-on experiences, and this is recommended for what ages? It's not telling me the age, but I would assume it would be like early elementary students. I can probably, you know, get started with this for Eliana. Honestly, because, you know, I want it to be, when we go over history, talk about history, I want it to be accurate, right? If you know, you know, we don't have to get into that, but I want it to be accurate. So this is, their description says, take your early elementary students on a journey through U.S. history. This gentle picture book-based approach engages young minds in the issues of justice, inclusion, resistance, and resilience. So it includes a year-long story quilt project and coloring and activity pages. So this is a digital download that I'm probably going to be investing in for my daughter Eliana, who's 6. And then of course, when it comes to picture books, of course my 4-year-old loves to be involved as well. So yeah, this is probably what we're going to go with in terms of history. Yeah, so I'm looking at that. Also, I found what is it called, on Teachers Pay Teachers. I found a good little curriculum on there. It's designed by, you know, teachers, and they cover a variety of things. I'm going to try to find their page now and then just link what I mentioned in the description box, whether it's a link for the workbooks, curriculum, people that I'm talking about, let me see if I can find her. So I will link her Instagram, but she covers Black history and all of the topics in a fun way. And so geography, economics, all of that, like she has a good little curriculum. Well, not little, not in an offensive way, but good curriculum that I wouldn't mind using for my babies. So let me check that out. I don't know the price, but that's something I was looking at as well. Either the Old Freedom curriculum or the that I'm talking about now. And hers is primarily on Teachers Pay Teachers. So this is just like, she has social studies. That's what I was talking about. Social studies cover like 5 different topics: geography, history, economics, I don't know what else, but I can't think of what else right now. But she does have a Black history bundle, and lots of printables. Her name is Lanisha. Is it Lanisha? Lanisha Tab. So I'm gonna link that in the description box below. Don't want this video to be too long, but that's my approach for history and science in our homeschool. Like, science is integrated in our day-to-day life. They're always in the kitchen, measuring, counting. We're talking about why things happen, the reaction, the changes. Being that I have a science background, I try to incorporate those things on the daily without like sitting down, writing stuff down. I want it to be hands-on and active. You know, I want them to know what things are, why these happen, whatever the case may be. I just want it to be as fun as possible, right? I don't want their first few years of learning to be so boring. You know, if they're doing 89 worksheets and all of that. I want it to be experiments, you know, fun books, fun trips, and things of that nature. So once we switch things up, I'll probably do an updated video. But so far, that's all I have for science. Hopefully this is helpful. I do want to mention that I did use the 180 days of like geography workbook, so I'm sure the 180 days of science will probably be just as good as the other one was. So I'll link that book as well. I was going to compare the two, but I found out that my daughter prefers the Evan Moore workbooks as opposed to the 180 days workbooks. So yeah, just use the books like this as a guide for early science, and then match it with picture books, match it with documentaries, match it with YouTube videos, match it with what do I like to say, movies, you know, fun movies. So that's all I got for this video, y'all. Hopefully it was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll do another video. So as always, see you guys in the next one.